As a child and in childhood, always been a loner type. And I don't need to emphasize the point that being alone does not mean that you are lonely, because I've never once in my life felt lonely, yet I love being alone. Whenever there would be a school project, I'm thinking about from middle school to college, anytime the teacher would assign a school project, and they made it mandatory to be a group project. And sometimes the teacher would assign your group members, or sometimes you could choose your own group members. But either way it goes, periodically, we would have mandatory group projects throughout school. And every single time, for as long as I can remember, I would always go up to the teacher after class and ask them if I could do the project solo. And they all would just give me this look of, why would you want to do that to yourself? And a lot of them would say, it's going to be more work for you, or, you don't have to, or are you sure I signed someone for you? Basically they were trying to let me know if I knew what I was signing up for. And I would always turn down any of their offers and just say I really would rather do the entire project myself. All of the time except for one. I remember one distinctively. One teacher would not let me. They wanted to push my boundaries and make it mandatory for me to do the group project. You're probably thinking, why in the world would you do that? Well, the reason why I would always do that is because I always felt like it was easier and better for me to do things myself, even if it meant it was more work for me. I felt like more schoolwork for me was better than trying to have to work with others, especially when it was strangers. And those times are my earliest recollection of knowing that partnership was not for me. I'm not a difficult person to get along with. I get along with a lot of people. I have plenty of friends. I've had plenty of friends throughout my life. But as far as partnership, I've never been that type. I've never been the partner type of person. And in relationships, when I look back at it, I would always choose men that let me lead the way. My way or the highway type of thing, like the way that I treated my relationships, poor guys. But if I was with a guy that did not let me call the shots and did not let me still do my own thing, the relationship became turbulent. It's interesting because I'm only attracted to men that are dominant and are leader type men. So it's interesting. It's like I'm attracted to those types of men, but I know I couldn't be with them long term because I am not okay with playing the follower role. All my life, I've enjoyed being in the leader position of my own life. If you want to come along, cool. If not, cool. But either way, I'm going to go. I always did what I wanted to do. I've always done solo dates. Solo dates is a new term. I feel like that term has come up within the past few years. I would just call it going out to eat. But I've learned, thanks to social media, that that is considered not normal to go out to eat by yourself. When I want to eat, I go get something to eat. I've never once in my life thought, oh, I need to call somebody to come eat with me. Oh, I need to make sure that I'm eating with somebody. I've never had those thoughts. Apparently, it's not normal to go to the movies by yourself. So because I've been in so many relationships, a lot of times I'll go to the movies with my boyfriend at the time. But if I'm not in a relationship or I just don't feel like being bothered by anybody, or I know it's a movie that most people probably wouldn't enjoy as much as I would, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask for anyone to join me on a movie. I will gladly buy a ticket, sit in my favorite spot, and go watch the movie by myself and see absolutely nothing wrong with that. So solo dating, I've always done since a teenager, and I never thought that that was a sign that I didn't like being partnered until recently. Also, the roommate thing. I could never have a roommate. I'd rather be dead broke. I'd rather be dead broke in a shack than have a roommate. That is how serious it is to me. Living alone is something that I enjoy too much, maybe. Like sometimes I can get lost in my own, when I'm really in my own space. I enjoy being in my own space so much. And honestly, it's just gotten more and more intense as I get older. The older I get, the more alone I want to be. Another thing that I had to try it before denying it was solo travel. Love traveling, but I've always traveled with ex-boyfriends. To me, it was a safety thing but also an aesthetic thing and just a cute thing. I just think it's really cute. Couples on vacation, you're not really supposed to be arguing. Like, it's supposed to be just a fun, cute time, doing cool things together. Like, it's cute. And I never really gave solo travel a chance until 2021. I finally gave solo travel a chance. I absolutely love it. I enjoy it so much. I thought maybe that travel was one of the things that I did need companionship for, but turns out I don't even need companionship for that. Another thing that lets me know that I truly enjoy my default setting being alone is I don't have to ask people their opinions before I make major decisions. And I know a lot of people that do. So there was a time where I really, really got close to a female friend in my adult years, and she was, bless her heart, loved her, but she was very clingy. She had just got divorced. All she knew was to be partnered. She was definitely the type of woman that needs partnership. Like, she literally can't do anything solo. She can't think by herself. She needs companionship, even if it's just friends. And so it was such a contrasting difference between me and her. And she leaned on me a lot during this time, which I enjoyed because I enjoyed her, but it also just really got me learning how someone else's mind works. One thing that I really noticed about her is she has to ask people their opinion before she makes any major decision. It doesn't even have to be that major. It can just literally be, what should I wear out tonight? She has to get the input of other people, at least 3 other people, before she makes any major decision. And seeing how she operates, just even how she thinks, how someone that prefers and needs companionship thinks is totally different. It's a very big difference. And I was able to see how big of a difference it was when I became close with her. I never have ever felt like I needed to ask people their opinion before making major decisions. By the time I tell people what I'm about to do, it's already in the process of being done. And I make my own decisions. I don't know how to explain it, but I've never needed a partner to make decisions for me. There's a lot of talk with the femininity movement and just, traditional gender roles, and where women are looking for leadership in men, specifically provider men. And the leadership thing has always been a bit of a rocky thing for me to accept. The man is supposed to lead the house and lead the decisions, and I'm supposed to follow their lead. I've just never been someone that would follow anyone's lead, let alone a man. I've always been the dictator of my own life and enjoyed being the dictator of my own life. I'm just a very self-motivated, clear-headed, and headstrong person. I know the direction that I need to go, and I know how to get there. I don't need a man to lead me in any direction. I don't need guidance from a man. Oh, we're going to do this. This is the better way to do this. Or, oh, we're going to make this move because it's going to be better for this. And I don't need to follow somebody's lead with that type of stuff. I just don't. Also, I want to touch on life path numbers really quickly. I am a life path number 1, and life path number 1 has a lot of these qualities that I'm speaking of. Even if you don't know anything about life path and you don't know your life path number, you can kind of assume just by the number. Life path number 1 has to do with you being the autonomous leader person naturally. So I'm naturally this way. I mentioned during childhood how I would always ask for my group projects to be done solo instead. And of course, that type of attitude and preference followed me into adulthood, where I do prefer to work alone. Now, this doesn't mean that I can't work with others. That's not what this means. I can work in groups. I can work in teams, but that is not my preferred choice. For if I had it my way, which I try to live my life in accordance to my way, if I had it my way, I would always choose to work solo, not work in groups or teams, if it's my decision. Always. It doesn't matter what the group is. It doesn't matter who the team is. I prefer to work alone. That's why I love entrepreneurship so much, and why I've been an entrepreneur since 15 years old. It's just always been a natural path for me to work for myself and work by myself. because I'm not only an entrepreneur, but I'm a solo entrepreneur. There is a difference. I've never hired people. I do everything myself. I wear many hats, and I enjoy that. It makes me feel good, it makes me feel accomplished. I also love knowing all the different aspects of my business. I love being a multifaceted person. I love being multi skilled. Another thing I had to think of when it comes to why is my default setting to be alone is, do I prefer team hobbies or solo hobbies? And I honestly prefer solo hobbies. I feel like the only team hobby, well, it's not really a team. I would say fitness classes, but that's not a team. You're not working with a team. You're still solo. Yes, you're in a group of people, but you're all individualized in that hobby. So fitness classes is a hobby for me, like Pilates, but that is an individual thing. Everyone has their own piece of equipment. They're going at their own pace. But yeah, other than that, a lot of my hobbies are actually solo when I write them out and think about it, which is so interesting. I didn't even realize that. And last but not least, I know that my default setting is to be alone, like, because I can go days without talking to people and feel perfectly fine. I don't feel like I've missed out on anything. I don't feel like I miss anyone. If I miss people, then I'll reach out. And like I've said in other videos, I have created this channel to see if there is anybody out there like me. I may just be just a huge weirdo that no one can relate to, but I'm testing it out. I'm seeing with this channel. Any of the things I said resonated with you, maybe it's time to stop looking for a life partner. You are whole on your own. You may not have or need another half. Not everybody can say that they feel whole on their own. Don't feel bad if you feel like you weren't meant to have a life partner. It's actually a blessing in disguise. I think so. We see what people go through trying to find their life partner or trying to have and hold a life partner. Us women that enjoy being solo don't have to go through that anymore. We don't have to do that. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and I will talk to y'all in my next video.